Basulto. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm the president of Partnership for Awareness. PFA seeks to educate, engage, and empower parents and youth on critical health and social challenges faced by children and teens in our area through a partnership and coordination with local schools, community organizations, and law enforcement. Tonight's program is being recorded. I would like to thank San Marino High School Media Arts students Alan Balcazar Espinoza, Nicholas Lozada, Jaden Kusuma, and Sydney Tew for filming and editing the video of tonight's presentation, as well as their teacher, Dave Basulto. The content of this talk is intended for informational purposes only and not intended as a substitute for professional advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your mental health professional or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding you or your child's condition. If you are in crisis or think you may have an emergency, call your doctor or 911 immediately. Sorry, that's our general. Don't want anyone to sue us. Finally, thank you to our PFA sponsors. Your donations support parent education programs, Red Ribbon Week activities, school site grants, and scholarships for students pursuing careers aligned with PFA's mission. If you enjoyed tonight's program and are not already a PFA sponsor, consider becoming a sponsor by visiting our website at www.partnershipforawareness.org to learn more. It is my pleasure to introduce PFA Programming Chair Jennifer Giles, who will introduce tonight's speaker.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Good evening. I'd like to introduce Kirsten Jones. She played Division I volleyball at the College of William & Mary in Virginia. She previously served as a footwear executive for over 14 years for Nike, both in Europe and at their headquarters in Portland, Oregon. She is now a motivational speaker, writer, and peak performance coach who works with both teens and pro athletes, entrepreneurs, and business leaders, where she helps them learn how to reach their goals and release their limitations. Along with parent educator Susie Walton, Kirsten is the co-host of Raising Athletes podcast, where they interview coaches and athletes, trainers, and industry experts about everything youth sports. Kirsten is a contributing author for the book Winning Mindset, Elite Strategies for Peak Performance. Her book, Raising Empowered Athletes, a youth sports parenting guide for raising happy, brave, and resilient kids, helps parents navigate the difficult decisions and extraordinary pressures of today's youth sports world and raise young athletes who are confident, resilient, and successful both on and off the field, as well as in life. And her book will be available for purchase after the presentation this evening. Kirsten and her husband, Evan, are currently raising 3 young adult athletes, of which this is probably out-of-date info, 23, 20, and 18 in LA. She guest writes about the challenges of raising not only strong athletes, but extraordinary people as a guest expert on websites including grownandflown.com and ilovetowatchyouplay.com. And it's said that I garnered from Amazon that at games, Kirsten sits heavily on her hands and holds her tongue. So please welcome Kirsten Jones.
Thank you. I have to start by saying I was doing a 6:15 a.m. workout, and the last exercise he had me do, I leaned over and I heard my BAP go, pop. I can do this. So if I'm walking funny, I just disregard that. But I'm so happy to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me. As she said, the book came out in August, so I've been speaking all over the United States, actually in New York and Virginia and Dallas to Texas, California. And my goal is to help parents and their athletes and the coaches all, when we know better, we do better. And we struggle. And as I said, with 3 of my own, trying to say the right thing, do the right thing in the moment. And I like this visual of this book because when we're going to be telling the story at some point, and when our kids are going to be telling the story about their childhood, what do you want it to say? And that's, I think, one of the biggest things we need to consider as we go on that journey. Who has grade schoolers. Anybody have grade schoolers? Okay, who has middle schoolers? High schoolers? College athletes. Okay, awesome. We got the works. Okay, good. I can adjust to the audience, because here's what happened. When you got pregnant, most of you, some of you may be a little younger than me, but when you got pregnant, everybody said you what to expect when you were expecting, and you were like, "This is awesome. I'm gonna be the best parent ever. I'm gonna pick a lima bean. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do," and you could crush it. And for 3 times in a row, I crushed every pregnancy. And then you get to kick and chase, like 4 years later, and you're standing on the sideline watching the kids run in a ball up and down the field, and there's somebody standing next to you going, "You got a private coach, right? Like, you're not going to do this rep thing, are you? Like, we're going to Stockholm this summer." And you start thinking, "Am I doing this wrong? Like, I thought we just signed up to have fun." And here are my 15 years ago, I remember looking at those little faces and going, "Oh, they're going to be great athletes, and they're going to be like, you have all these hopes and dreams for them, as you should as a parent." But we just have to find ways along the journey that we don't get in front of the horse. We don't get in front of what it is they want to be and who they become. True story that I have in the book. Most of us are decent sports parents. Most of us are doing the right thing. We may yell the wrong thing occasionally or ask the wrong thing in the car ride home. But there was a gentleman who hired a plane that said, "Fire Coach Smith and Coach Kowalczyk," and had it fly over the baseball net of his high school son's baseball, right? Not because they were losing. The team was 17-1. Not because the kids didn't like the coach. Like, they really liked the coach. Just because this kid wasn't playing. Yeah. And what does that say to your kid about who they are and how humiliating that must have been for that boy? So I know we were in a little closed space. You're probably not going to escape, but stick around and we've got some copies we want to give away. I've been trying to sign around a sign-up sheet. I'm doing a ton of these talks. I'm also doing some mindset coaching. And it's not just for athletes, it's for all of us, right? We all need tools to get through this. I love the Maya Angelou quote, "We're all doing the best we can for where we are with what we got." And if you're in the arena, if you're one of those parents, if you're one of those athletes that are showing up, that are doing the extra reps, that are fighting, it's not always going to go well. And if somebody is in the arena with you, that's when I think it's okay to give feedback. So that's where I come at it from. Is I played college volleyball, then I worked at Nike with the best athletes in the world, and then I got to the sidelines and saw, gosh, this doesn't feel like my childhood, our childhoods, where the kids were just enjoying it and playing it for the sake of playing. So how did we get here? How did we get to where a stat just shocked me? A couple of weeks ago, I looked it up again. It's now up to a $35.5 billion business, youth sports, right? In the 40s and 50s, about 20% of women worked outside of the home. Thank you. By the 70s and 80s, that number had doubled. So nearly half of women, 1 out of 2 women, was working outside of the home. So now we're at 1979, 1980, and moms don't have as much time to help the kids. Dads are also working. 1981, a report comes out that our kids are falling behind. Americans used to be the smartest, we used to be leading the world in academics, and now we're falling behind, and our kids aren't as smart. And in 1979 in Florida, Adam Walsh is abducted in the head. And that makes national news that 38 million people turn on their TV to find out that home is a very scary place. You can't just let your kid run out into the street and play until the lights go out anymore. We need to be more protective. So, and in 1979, this little channel comes online, ESPN, right? So now I can turn on the TV and see Tiger Woods at Nadia Comaneci and Serena Williams. And so I think this is the, the melting pot of everything that was going on in the environment in the 70s and 80s that started kind of the frog in the pot, that started the temperatures to go up. Because then some very well-meaning dads said, oh, well, I'll coach. You need help? I'll jump in and coach, right? Which was great. Until dads were like, yeah, but if we got Jimmy and Timmy, what if we had our own team, right? Now if I do presentations where the mom's like, oh, my husband's on a laptop, he's got spreadsheets, they're doing the draft 3 weeks before, right? Like, we start getting competitive and we start seeing this whole thing escalate. I had to go play at college. My parents could have cared less that I played, they wanted me to be a ballerina 6 feet tall in Napa and wanted me to play piano, those wheels on a chalkboard, right? So, but they supported the journey. It's like, great, you want to go do that, go try it. But we're really about you figuring that out. So this is about sports, but it's not. This is about how we parent. And the over-involvement in parenting has reached epidemic proportions. If you haven't read this book, I really enjoyed it. I talked to the author just a couple of months ago, and it's very LA stories. But true quote from Felicity Huffman, right? The doctor ultimately said, why didn't you let me do it? Like, I could have done it. I would have been fine. And she said, yeah, but, I really didn't have an answer. I just didn't want her to fail. And we as parents, we don't want our kids to fail. When we were living in Carlsbad, and my middle son was in first grade and didn't know anybody, so I'll volunteer to go do the picnic to help out the moms, right, to do the picnic. And so we sit down at the Panera. The women are like, so do you have the book report done? The book report, do you have the book report done? I'm like, supposed to do a book report for this meeting? Like, no. Mrs. Cunningham said the book report was due. Like, all right. So when I asked my 6-year-old, have you done the book report? He's like, oh, like, have you read the book? All right, well, let me know if you need any help. Nah, I'm good. And out the door he goes, right? And 3 weeks later, we're in the classroom, and it looked a lot like this. The mobiles that they had to make are hanging from around the room. And some of them are perfectly typed, 12 font, beautiful pictures, and all basically. And I go over in the corner, and there's Parker's. And there's just like globs of glue hanging off, some crayon, some pencil. And Mrs. Cunningham, who's 31-year first grade teacher, she says, some parents don't think I can tell who did the work. But I can't. And you say, yeah, but he's 6 and he wasn't going to do it, right? And we start making excuses for why we need to insert ourselves. And then fast forward 10 years, we're sitting at the dinner table, and Parker had the physics presentation go, it's fine, I got a B, but you should have seen Max. He had this trifold, it was amazing with all the facts. And I asked him, dude, how did you work on that? He goes, I let my mom do it. She likes to do all lots. Right? So we start thinking, we're just going to do this one time, and then we keep doing it, and then it follows them through their path, right? This landscape is changing rapidly. Like you said, in the 70s and 80s to 90s, whether you played in college, nobody cared. Now we're coming at where everybody's coming out of the delivery room, declaring what school they're going to, right? I know kids that have moved to 4 different states in 4 years to go to 4 different high schools. I know a girl that's playing on a volleyball team, goes to high school in LA and flies to play with a team from Indiana, right? Like, it's gotten to the point where everything is about this one thing, right, for these athletes. And knowing that multi-sport athletes are kind of a thing of the past. Like, we lived in Buffalo, like, kind of lived all over. We lived in Buffalo for a couple of years, and today the dad wrote, so proud of my 3-sport athlete who was able to play softball, basketball, and volleyball all the way through high school. Like, that's unheard of anymore. But what we know is those who play more sports longer, they're better athletes, they have less injuries, they have less anxiety, their long-term health is much better. So for those of you with young athletes, and I coach little 9 and 10-year-olds, and the parents will come out and so sorry, like, what? Well, she's 10 and she's never played volleyball before. Good, let's go. Well, what is she going to do? Well, she tried tennis. Awesome. And we're living this when to specialize and you're already 6 and you have, no. The best athletes, I'm actually, it's our 100th episode, Tony here works with you, and a 100th episode of the podcast and recording on Friday with Steve Kerr. So I've been doing research on him, and I heard him talk, and he said, I look at any of my best NBA players, they all played soccer, yelling. And that's, yes, they have hand-eye coordination, but they see the floor really well. And he said, I'm 100% sure it's because they played in that floor. So don't buy into this, yeah, but the volleyball coaches have to only play this, and she's 8. Upper, right? What we're looking for are athletes for life. The ball stops bouncing for us all. But we want our kids to know that, oh, I'm going to go join a gym class. I'm going to go hiking. I see myself as an athlete. That's what we need to be looking at when we start thinking about what we want them to get out of these sports. They'll suffer less depression, less anxiety, less overwhelm. And what we're seeing is most of the football players, because you can't specialize, because there's no club football, those are the ones that are the highest rate of multi-sport athletes. Most of them track, but it helps them become better athletes. It can train you how to tackle somebody, but I can't train you how to the athleticism that comes with playing. So as I mentioned, $37 billion business is projected to be a $50 billion business by 2030, right? Less than 7% of kids, this was actually pre-COVID. I think now between COVID, the transfer portal, and NIL, I think that number is probably close to 4 or 5%. Will play any level, D1, D2, D3, NAI, right? Now being an athlete, trying to get into college, why would I go shop for an 18-year-old when I can go over here in the portal and pick up a 22-year-old who's got 3 years of stats? Like, that's literally what the college coaches are saying. So long gone are the days where, okay, they're a little bit undersized and they don't weigh, Steph Curry gets to Davidson. He's 5'10", 150 pounds soaking wet. Okay, yes, he had a father playing the NBA, but you're willing to take a risk on that? You don't need to do that anymore. All these coaches are so worried about their jobs. I'm going to win today. I can't invest in you with hope that you win in poly-run. 70% of athletes are dropping out of sports altogether by age 13. Girls are dropping out at twice the rate of boys. Why? I think we've stopped all the fun athletes, right? The adults it's no more fun. Why am I with the headache of getting up at 5 a.m. to be yelled at that I didn't win, that I'm not going to make this team, right? And their bodies are breaking down. UConn, the basketball, am I watching the women's basketball? They run Final breaks. It's as exciting as the boys. But what we're seeing, the UConn team had 5 athletes, 6 athletes. So, yeah, well, they played all game because they got so many injuries, right? It's really scary. So when you hear the coach say, this program runs for 13 months of the year, I joke, but you get a week off between Memorial Day and the Monday, right? The kids' bodies need rest. They can't handle the pro schedule. They need time to rebuild. So all of this is giving me, right, Kirsten? Thanks for bringing this up, right? No, there's a lot of wonderful things, and what I'm selling, why we need this, is because of all these good things that come out of playing sports: leadership, teamwork, collaboration. The executive functioning skills, the needing to be at the court 30 minutes early, the understanding what it takes to pack your bag the night before, growth mindset, all of these things are huge. And I look at it as planting seeds. Maybe the best thing we get out of the AQ soccer team is the fact that she hadn't packed her bag the night before. We had to get up and get in the car. This is not soccer. It's about all the stuff around it. And when I talk to a lot of girls, particularly, but some boys too, they're like, I just like being on a team. A lot of mom call me and she's like, we're not having any fun. Oh, aren't we? Yes, we need to talk to Sally. They get Sally and they tell them, how's it going? Great. Oh, so what's going on? Well, they don't play, but I'm not that good. You can't play. They know. They're very aware of who's better than they are. Oh, well, do you want to play more? Well, yeah, I like that. All right, let's brainstorm some ideas as to how you can get more playing time, right? So what is the right age to specialize? I say anything under 13, you need to focus on 3 F's: friends, fun, and fundamentals. Find a coach that sees your child. And by that I mean, if they have a roster of 13 and you know not all 13 are going to play, but they're going to develop players 7 through 13, that's a good place for you. If we're on the ones team, we don't touch the floor on the field, but we're on the ones team, not a great place to be. Because what you want them doing is gaining skills that they can gain. Doesn't mean they need to play every minute of every game. Not what I'm saying. But it does mean they need to be, what competence builds confidence, right? So they need to be gaining some competencies by learning the fundamentals. And avoid the fourth F, which is that Yale on the sideline that says we're going to Sweden. Forget the FOMO, right? Oh, they're doing that, they have this. We have to stay in our lane. Do what's right for you. I'd say check in with your family values. You wanted to go camping in Yosemite this summer for a week or 3, and you're going to miss the big tournament. And with 10, do it. We only have 18 summers with them. I don't think there's a lot of kids that are like, yeah, well, I missed that one summer, that one soccer tournament in Vegas in July. No. But they won't remember, they will remember mine. We took them out to go rafting in the Grand Canyon, and we missed 1 week of Vegas, and my 13-year-old sat on back and goes like this. And I brought it up to him the other day. I'm like, remember when you touted the whole rafting trip? And he's like, what are you talking about? Didn't remember things. I'm like, are you kidding me? I have pictures of you sitting down in the back of the boat, right? So yes, I have, there's a lot. So what happens if you have a really intense kid and they really want to be there? Awesome. And you need to make family memories too. You need to be doing things that are right for your family. So here's me, the adult perspective, but I also loved hearing from the kids. And I think it's really important that the kids tell us how they feel and what they hear. So my really dear friend, Asian Babe, has this website called I Love to Watch You Play. She posts a lot of inspiring stuff, and she created this video.
So you get it to play. Yep. Get off.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, ready.
I prefer that my parents, if I play bad, don't say anything. And if I play well, it doesn't really matter if they compliment me on how I play. I just I don't know, I prefer my parents to not talk as much.
I can hear. So I'm cheering me on, and I'm thinking in my head, just shut it, I'm trying to focus. Mom yells in Spanish. Go, go, go. My mom just says, use the backboard. You should use the backboard. I get angry because it annoys me. I'm embarrassed.
She tells me to get in the position that my coach told me not to get in. I'm like, well, no. And then she's like, get in your position. I'm like, no.
I get a little tense when I have a certain score to get. And she's like, you gotta get that whatever score. And I'm like, I don't like it when they try to push me even more, even though I'm trying really, really hard. Coming from the coach's mouth is kind of better, I feel like, because your parents are there to support you and your coach is there to help you, And I start screaming, run faster, make a basket. But I just start going slower every time I keep saying that.
The other people were like, wow, that mom was really wanting her kid to win.
In my inside, you can't see it, but I'm inside saying, be quiet. And sometimes I just look into space.
Try to listen to them and then do what they say to so they don't start yelling again.
I don't really want them to give me that much advice because I forget it all.
Sometimes I get nervous
When they yell and nobody else is yelling. Sometimes it can embarrass me. A lot.
Wait. What's going on? We're just trying to do this, but you want us to try harder?
Well, I am.
I'm not going into a game not trying my hardest. That'd be like messed up.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure. Sometimes when you try to get the ball in basketball, you kind of think in your head that they're kind of like gonna push you and you're gonna fall and hurt yourself. They don't need to like always be like telling me what to do like every minute of the game. They kind of just gotta let me play. I love when you say it like really nice. Oh God, Mom.
I'd like to look back and I'd like to see you like smile or like give me a thumbs up.
Mom, I wish you would be a little bit quieter. Say like you play good and like you can get them next time. When they smile and say like good job. That thank you for loving me. I love being my supporter. When I'm upset, my mom and dad cheer me up.
Sometimes I forget about all the work that they do for me.
Be my biggest fan. I need a level up. I want you to know I need big hugs. I love this next for your family. Makes me happy when you always encourage. When you love them. Please just be my mom and dad. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, so I have a story in the book, in my son's basketball game, and the dad, it was his freshman team, and the dad the year before, the kid had been the star, and he scored all the points. And so now as a freshman, the dad sits down next to me halfway through the season, and he's like, such a waste of time. And I said, oh, what's going on? And he said, well, first of all, he should be on varsity, because he's way better than any of these players. Second of all, he should just be scoring every single time. And I said, oh. So now the coach doesn't even play. And they said, oh, well, did he talk to the coach about playing too? He said, yeah. He says he needs to learn the plays and pass the ball. Oh, interesting. By the end of that season, the dad stopped coming to the games altogether. The boys stopped getting playing time. We have the final banquet. They don't even show up. His dad had made a poster-sized picture of him, and the kid transferred schools. I don't think he's a bad dad. He got lost in the competition of it, and the son stopped playing basketball the next year. And it's a shame when our egos get in the way of allowing our kid to learn and grow. And that's where the opportunity lies for all of us to support them and allow them to have their journey. When I talk to athletes, so I meet with teams and athletes. I met with her daughter's team in Kansas City just a couple of weeks ago. This is the biggest thing I spend time on, which is understanding how much power we have, how much agency we each have over what we're doing every day. Well, it's not fair the coach won't play me. Well, it's not fair they don't let me, she doesn't pass to me. She's not. We talk about everything around us, but here are 10 things that require zero talent. And I guarantee you, teachers, coaches, bosses, spouses, you do these 10 things, you will find a home, wherever you want to be. And I have examples of kids on every single one of my kids' teams that it was the kid that never played, but my son played, he pounded the whole car ride home, and this kid was in the back, which is, but that was a great play. Like, he had the best attitude, he was the most coachable. Fast forward, he calls me last summer, Mrs. Jones, can I wash your car? He said, Mr. Jones already said no, but I really want to wash your car. Come right here and see us, right? Because one day, Parker's going to need a job, and you're going to need to hire him, right? Like, that's that attitude, right? Not, oh, it's not fair, and I'm not tall enough, and the coach doesn't like none, right? When we understand that these are within our own control, and how much, and that coach, I talked to the coach about it, it's like, oh my God, I'll never cut that kid. Are you kidding me? He's the glue. Like, he's the thing that makes this whole team successful. We all have a leg. We all can't coach the All-American All-Star. So parent the child you have, not the one you wish you had. And that's hard. I think a lot of parents are like, yeah, but we want you over there. But this role that this kid is getting out of this, being on this team, that's what's setting him up for success in the long run. And I go into coaching because it is so impactful. I believe like teaching. And out of high school, I walked on at San Diego State. I grew up in Montana, barely had matching knee pads. Got to San Diego and played for a Bobby Knight type of coach. And it was a miserable experience. And I had never gone to the campus. I'd never met the coach. I had never met the team. I had never seen the school. Shocker. It didn't work out, right? So I learned from that. And then I transferred to William & Mary and played 2 of the best years of volleyball in my life for a coach that was in my wedding, that I talked to every month, that is another mother and a best friend to me, right? So finding the coaches that can impact your child in a positive way. And again, it might not be because you made it all the way to the finals. It might be because that coach took the time to work with your kid, even when they weren't the star. And what they get from me, the sense of, wow, they really wanted to help me, and I worked hard, and that made a difference. That's what we're looking for. So, bleh. A lot of bad stuff, right? A lot of things like, okay, great, Kirsten. Now we know how awful this whole thing is, and we're all paying a bunch of money for it. How do we fix it? So I came up with some do's and don'ts. And, I actually just recently added these because you're like, oh, those were all obvious. I guess they're not. Because and I put myself in that, even if I don't do some of these, I feel them, right? But here are some of the do's, and when next time you're sitting sidelines for your kids, cheer for everybody. Cheer louder for the kid that just made the point than yours. And encourage your child. Here's the biggest one, I think, that like in school, teach them to advocate for themselves. They want to quit, they need to go talk to the coach. They're not getting playing time, they should go ask the coach what it is. And they can start young. Remember our little 6-year-old? Well, I need to go. So you do a role play. Hey, how's it going for you? Well, the coaches are playing. Oh, would you like to talk about how we can talk to the coach? If they're shy, okay, fine, I'll go with you. But that's the blessing that they're going to get out of this experience. Oh, I went in and I talked. I was able to voice my opinion. Sometimes they're going to get what they want. Sometimes they're not. This is life, right? Asking them after a tough loss, Susie talks about this a lot, is how can they support you? Not like, man, that sucked and that went wrong and this. Before you start interjecting your own opinion with it, which is so, right? Oh, I have all the answers. I've seen this before. How can I support you? I don't know, I'm just mad. Okay, well, let me know if you want to talk. Saying like the video says, I love to watch you play. Maybe that was fun to see you out there. Well, I didn't even get to play. I know, but I saw you picking up the water bottles and cheering on your friends and high-fiving them. That's what I care about. That you were the first one there, that you were lining everybody up, that you were organized. And here's what I love to challenge myself on in any tournament. Watch somebody make a good play from the other team and go after what those dreams thought you had. Like, you would think people like going to, anaphylactic shock when you compliment somebody else's kid that's not on your team. It shouldn't be that hard, but that's how we change this environment and this culture of, it's not because we're happy you lost. It's, oh, wow, I loved how you did that. So don't cheer against anyone, and this is, yay, you missed the free throw. Yay, you struck out. Right? But say, what are you doing? Cheer for the team. Don't call the coach if you're worried about playing time. Don't go coach at all. Right? If you need to talk to the coach, have your kid talk to the coach, and then if it gets to that place, text the coach, they're going to come in and meet with you as well. With my child. They need to advocate for themselves. I spoke in Kansas City and to a group like you, and then one of the moms that was in there, texted me afterward, sent me an email afterwards, and she said, well, I just listened to your talk. I was all motivated. I went out onto the floor, and there's a girl in tears, sobbing her eyes out, and the parents are standing next to her, and the dad is like, why did I even bother coming if you're just going to cry? I'm wasting all my money. Next time I'm just going to let you and your mom go by yourself. no, right? But she's clearly had like, that's, don't throw fuel on the fire. Don't spend your time rehashing, blaming, pointing things out. If you want to talk about it, wait a day. Go to breakfast. Hey, what are you talking about? Manda. Most of the time, they moved on. But we're like, nah, but what if we had done, no, let it go. Obviously, this also seems obvious. Don't check all the other team coaches or the parents, but that happens all the time, right? And don't post on social media against the other team or athlete. That also seems odd, but they just happened to somebody on my daughter's team. Like the mom went on social media and called out the girl on my daughter's team. Like, it's awful. Like, that's your children. What are you doing? So a little shift, but if you're familiar with this book, it just came out last fall too. I love her work, Jennifer Wallace, and she talks about this epidemic that our kids are going through. Because here's what happened when everything shifted away from just go out playing, we don't care if you ever play in college, to this, we all need to go play D1 or we need to play at the highest level, is our kids are having this crisis of matter. They don't have jobs, they don't have hobbies, they can't even do the dishes, right? Because we need to get from the course to the desk, to do the homework, to go to bed, to get up early, to get to breakfast, to get to court, right? And we're doing this rinse and repeat cycle, and that's fine if things go perfectly, and assuming they get some sleep in between. But when one thing isn't going well, their entire identity, I'm a baseball player. That's all I do. That's all I do. I mean, in their mind, they're not wrong. They go to school, and then they go to baseball, and they go, and I think this really was exacerbated during COVID, right? My middle one was 18 months on a Zoom call in his pajamas. And it was right when he was getting ready to go to college. And we had a moment of him sitting at the kitchen counter in tears saying, I'm nothing. I'm not getting recruited. If I don't play basketball, I get bad.
Get out down.
Parents, right? No, basketball is something you do. It is not who you are. Your 7.5 or your 3.5 or your 2.0 is a part of what you do, but it is not who you are. And where you go is not who you'll be is another great part, right? These academic pressures that our kids are facing, all of your future, if you don't get in this school, if you don't get this, everything is over. No. If you don't win this, no. It's a moment. It's not the only moment. So finding opportunities to walk the dog, to eat dinner at the table, to, like little things that we took for granted. I think as kids growing up, many of us had that responsibility. They don't have anymore. But again, when I work with teams, I do this exercise a lot with them, because we don't need the wheel to be perfectly shaped, but what you don't want is, I spoke at a private school in LA a couple years ago, and one of the dads came up and kind of bragged to me that his daughter was at an Ivy now, and don't worry, while she was in high school, she only slept 4 hours a night, but she's Red Bull. Really? That's the goal? Right? Yeah. And now she's in medical school, so she may have to give up track and field at the science because she really wants to do this, but it's okay. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And if you're not nurturing, if you're not missing a game, go on the vacation. I mean, yes, you have to be strategic about it. You can't miss whatever, but find people like, it's your grandmother's 90th. She's not turning 90 again. We're going on the trip, right? Finding time. And our kids need time too. That is not on a device. There's a brand new book out by Jonathan Haidt, and he's talking about this generation as we're so doing this all the time, consuming all the time, that the depression, the overwhelm, the shutdown, and he's recommending no phones till high school, ban the phones in school at all. Then see if you got off of social media until 16. But like you said, you look at the statistics of mental health, and basically as soon as the flip phone went away and the iPhone came in, that's when mental health went in question. So it isn't just it's not a problem for us. We managed it. And I know anecdotal stories of a teacher who had a high school student come in and read them doctor's note saying she cannot be separated from her phone. She will have an anxiety. That's a problem, right? Go to camp. Go to sleepaway camp where there's no phone. Go do something to unwire and rewire your brain. And these are a lot of the tools that when I work with athletes, when I get to be with teams, there are so many things that back to what control you have over what you're doing every day. There are a lot of these things that, yeah, they seem simple, but man, they give you grounded. And you listen to any top athlete, any executive, any leader, they're doing these things. They're visualizing their future. And in fact, a little plug, but Monday night, I'm trying this for the first time. I'm going to do a little online course. And if you on my website, you can sign up for it. And it's talking about this visualization, which I call remembering the future. So teaching you the tools we all have ideas of what, I would like to find out. I would like to be in the school play. I would like to learn the banjo. I would like, whatever those things are that, I don't talk to that. I'd like to write the book. I'd like to make $1 million. I don't talk about. And we go back a while, learn today, and then 5 years later, we're like, what are we doing? Well, we're doing the same thing you're doing 5 years ago. Well, why? Because I don't have time for that, right? But how do we get clear on what it is we really want? And then we vote with our time. We say one thing, we do another. Is this important to me? If it is, I will sit down and write. I will go in the backyard and hit the ball against the wall. And watch your kids. So how do I know if my kid really wants this? If they're only going to the practices that they have to go to, if you're dragging them everywhere, they're just like, the kids that are like, can I get extra bucks? That's something that they want it. But all of these, I won't go through all of them, but these are kind of the tools that I love to use with the athletes. And it's so fun when you see a penny drop and they realize, I know exactly what I'm going to do. A mantra. I work with the volleyball players and, what do you say when you're serving? I hope I know this. Oh, no. That's not what we want to be stating. I serve aces. And if you don't have anything going on, maybe that's fine too. But we want to be cognizant of what we're saying to ourselves about what's possible too. Because over half of what we do every day is egg having. Again, go with optimal recipe. We are habitual, humans are habitual. So we don't really get to decide our outcomes. We get to decide our habits. We have habits to decide our outcomes. Yeah, I wanted to run the marathon. Okay, great. For which do you run? Well, I ran one day and I did back again. Okay, so you don't want to swim. Hey, it is that simple, right? And when I worked at Nike, my husband worked with Kobe, and he was sent down to meet with Kobe right after Eagle, Colorado, to tell them that they were doing a signature too, which obviously wasn't a fun trip because he drew the short straws, the youngest guy on the basketball team. But he said it was a fascinating meeting because sitting there and listening to Kobe talk about his obsession with how he always wanted to get better, and he talked about his habits. And they actually ended up making an ad out of this meeting that he had with them. And he said, so tell me what happens. And he said, I have 8 time. So when people hate on me, he's a ball hog, you're garbage, you're too cold. He said, I assign a workout to every single negative comment I get. And he had it called the wall of pain. So on his wall, normally he would do the wall of pain. And here was Kobe. He would do one workout, then the Lakers workout, then the Lakers second workout, and then his other workout. He had 4 workouts a day. Why do you do 4 workouts a day? Because I want to know when I'm on the floor and you're guarding me, I own you. I've done all the work. These are the kind of things we're looking for. No idea what I'm doing 4 workouts a day. That's what I'm advocating here for. But what I'm saying is look for the things that, this is fun. How can I get better? I'm very fortunate. Both of my sons, one's playing D3 here at Come McKenna, and the other one's playing D1 basketball. They both made it to March Madness this year. So March has just stayed really stressful, but really good. And I think the best thing that happened, both of them, yes, eventually lost, as almost everybody but one team does. But I love that both of them woke up the next day and went to the gym. That tells you, they're like, but we're going to be done on next year. We're going to get to the next round. Right? That's what you're looking for instead of wanting to scratch that itch, right? So I won't go deep into this, but I think we're about that time. We okay?
6:40.
Okay. These are my three. So my daughter's not going to play volleyball in college. She said, Mom, this has been a fun ride. And that's awesome, right? Like, you do you. She wants to go into screenwriting. She's hoping, she's going to go to school in LA to focus on that. And the other, she said, no, this is my passion. How do I do this? So both of the boys, neither of the boys have offered out of high school. So that's kind of the stuff that I'll talk about on Monday night. But they went from 0 interest, 0 offers to both getting full ride scholarships. And so it comes by clarifying what it is you want, and then having people be honest with you and support you on your journey and getting good feedback and all of those things that take for us to get to the finish line. So let me finish by saying, there once was a little boy, and he found a caterpillar, and he asked his mom, could he keep it? And she said, sure. And so he put it in the jar, and he built this little cocoon, and he put it in his phone. And whatever it is, 3 weeks later, he comes right into the kitchen because the cocoon is open, and he's breaking out, and he goes flying up the door. In 10 minutes, he comes in and he's crying. And the mom's, what is going on? The butterfly is getting out, and he's working out. And it's real worse sobbing again. So I just ripped open the cocoon just to help him. Then he died. To parents, stop ripping open the cocoon. Right? No, I just want to help him, right? We can, I just said, just this little bit, right? Sometimes we need to struggle. And when we get to that other side, how proud we are of ourselves that we did. I did that. I made that happen. My mom didn't do it for me, my dad did it, right? That's what we're looking for here. So this isn't about raising athletes. This isn't about raising leaders or artists or, the next president, the next astronaut is in this room, right? That's what we want. And it's all of these skills and muscle. And the more we build it, the more we try things, the more we take risks, the better we get at it. So we're going to wrap a lot. Did everyone sign up? Here it's full. And the Kirsten can take quietly. Yeah, anybody have any comments, questions, thoughts on that? Share? Yes.
Often to actually see inner child or hear by a child happy who is actually intrinsically motivated, which is this town paper salads did, and it's like that theory and
Unicorn.
yeah, just what do you know about peasant majors or really?
Well, I live in LA, so I see a lot more than other places, probably, because there's so many pro athletes, right? So their kids are a lot of who I work with, but on average, even that, right? I kind of call it the unicorn triad, which is having the desire, the competitive spirit, can be, as my husband likes to say, it can't teach height. So, if you're a basketball player for 5'5", there's probably a limit, right? If you want to be a gymnast in your shoes too, there's probably a limit. So it depends on what area you want to be in. I don't have a number for you, but it is very rare because then again, you have to run a marathon. So I've seen plenty of super talented athletes who, actually one of my son's best friends who were living in Buffalo, he was dunking at 14. Everybody's, oh my gosh, he was getting recruited at 14 and 15. By 18, he had a travel labrum, he had knee surgery, he had foot surgery. He never ended up playing in college because he went from one injury to another. So we also that balance of, okay, they may have all the things, but then how can we make sure that, and that's why you can't all this stuff on the mat. And that back, like, again, give them balance. Like, no, let's take the vacation. No, it can need some downtime. I'm flying over to Chicago last year with my daughter. We are in the airport, and they're texting about the tryouts the following Monday. I think, have a nice weekend. Like, what? Like, it's gotten so intense that I think, I'm hoping to start a revolution. Like, we need to calm this down, and it's only getting worse. Yes.
So, as a coach yourself, man, the reason I bring this up, I have a student, he's been injured twice in really short span of time. So, have you watched or signed an athlete or training or putting top parents that watch that they're doing that?
over. So how do you see the signs in an athlete of overtraining and how do you help them and prevent that? And the problem is also genetically, we're all built differently. So there's some people that can, train 7 days a week and have the problems and their kids that, and that's, they're robbing, right? We're spending, their ligaments and everything are stretching so much. I know when I talk to the kids, I talk about how much sleep are you getting, how much water are you drinking, like how much downtime are you having and not on the phone? What are you doing away from the court? Because that's as important, not more important. Your superpowers that come in, they need that sleep. They need that because that's how they're ready to go. I don't know that I have an exact answer around seeing the signs, aside from getting to know each player and checking in with them. And the best coaches I know, they're like, hey, how's it going? I'm good, I'm tired. And there's some days that are going to be more in the complaining side. There's going to be some that won't tell you anything. Your arm's falling off. Oh, fine, right? So understanding kind of where the kid is and saying, gosh, let's see her, we seem to be, not looking as strong to me today as you were the other day. Is this a time for you to back off? But to be supported. Some of us need to be pushed, and some of us, we need to be pulled. So it depends on the personality too. But it is hard. How many kids on team?
I don't know. This is what students I don't know.
Okay. Because that's the other problem, right? Students have 22 kids on the roster, 32 kids on the roster. I interviewed a Yale volleyball coach. So she said, I've got 25 kids on my roster. She's like, I really don't get to spend time, but 12 through 22, it's on spring. Because I check in with everybody every week, but I need to focus on the ones that are on the floor all the time in season. So, that's a reality. I need souls now. To my son's team, like Baylor in the first round, there were twice as many coaches on the bench as there were players. There were 20 people in white shirts, and there were like 5 guys. If these bigger programs, it's such a business that they're, really focused on all of that kind of stuff. A lot of these teams now have 3 sports psychologists on staff just for the D1 team. It's going to the next level. But for youth sports, we need to be that role. That's our call. Yeah.
I have a 12-year-old, and I try to teach him about my mentality about youth sports and what I think about it. But he still feels intense pressure to play a team sport. He does in individual sports like jiu-jitsu or like parkour type thing. Yeah. But he feels intense pressure with a team sport, so much that he's crying because all his friends are doing, or even adults what they see, and the first thing they say, and so you're playing these sports. I know at least it's just all about this. How do we fight like the advertising industry, right? Billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like how you,
I said, don't believe the hype. And
other people, how do I protect it's all around us.
Yeah,
There.
it's harder as a need. Yeah, and then he's doing things. So parkour is probably harder than me and some first these kids are playing. And so I would say we have to do active ones. We're just not doing the ones that we got it. And not every kid is competitive. Even surfing or hiking or biking or there are things that you don't have to bring for a trophy. It isn't always about the medal. And when I worked at Benny, it was interesting sitting around the board or table. But inevitably, people would talk about what their sport was. Then you could tell there were some people that were individual sport athletes and those who were team sport athletes. And we need them both, right? The individual contributor will be the person who's like, well, I'm going to the project, I'm going to this is what I need to do. And the team person's like, yeah, well, let's be damn right, so just because he's wired that way and that's what he's like, that's awesome. And again, it's not about the team. If he doesn't want it and he wants it, then that's the conversation. Is he interested in being part of the team? And now we get like a fresh record.
And kids do that.
Yeah.
And I see it too. With parents are showing up big t-shirts with team.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah.
So much of it.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry it's not easier, but the club on my there's enough for thank you. Yeah. I mean, not everybody's playing chess either, but again, those are people that we're doing science team, science projects or just up at Oregon speaking, and the school is all about outdoor adventure. And so it's so cool. They don't have any sports teams. All their robotics team are the jocks. You know, it's like, that was actually really cool to see that. Like, they're all, you know, they're bully a raft, they go rafting down the river, and it was like, that's really cool. But see, you don't have to be in that competitive, and I know where we live, it's not that. But I'm like, well, this would be a perfect place for kids who are just like, want to build something, I want to be a part of the team. That's a team too. So,
So my husband was a coach for a YSO or a referee, and the best game he said he enjoyed was one that they told the parents, "There's no shirt; it's a spinal day," and he said it was the best. But the kids enjoyed themselves and they weren't so stressed. So when you talked about, you know, the parents on sideline, that just sort of took it out of that.
yeah, both of my daughter and my son played AYSO, and what's your favorite day?
Science, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
And he actually chose not to continue being a referee because, like, some of his parents were just eating him,
Yeah,
totally need him, and he said, I'm just volunteering."
yeah.
It's sad, and I was 15 years.
When my son was 15, we volunteered to rest the 9-year-old games, and we'd come home. This Terrence crazy. I keep about because I don't know. I was like, but it was really good appreciation for, like, he goes, but those rest of them, man, they're not nice to them, Mom. I said, no, I mean, I have a kid story in the book too about a 9-year-old baseball team, and they finished the game or whatever, and then the coach says, we had as much to do. We're gonna play in a meeting. And the kid comes up like, okay, great. And yes, I knew I did that. It's like, is that where we're at, right? Like, that's okay, we've done our job. Now can we go have fun? Oh. Well, thank you all so much. This is really fun. I really appreciate you.
That's good.
How?
Christy Wu.
Yeah. Don McKeon. Yes. Elizabeth Espinoza. I'll stick around if you want to buy a book. I'll sign it, and obviously I'm happy to answer any questions, have any conversations you want to have. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, and here's a little information about